Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Sister Friends. I'm your co-host, Sam, and with me I have Lo and Jam Jam. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Greetings.
Great to see you, ladies. I missed you.
I know. It's been a minute.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about bucket lists and vision boards. So, as we look into the new year, we're about 2 weeks into the new year now. And this is a time when everybody makes...
Actually, it's 3.
Well, it's just a little over 2.
Okay.
Today, yeah, a little over.
Cheers.
This is the time of year everybody starts to, trying to act on their resolutions, and a common way that people do that is by drafting vision boards, and it's just a way of executing or visualizing the things that you want to happen, whether it be through the year or even for a longer term. It's a visualization of one's goals, so to speak. So today we're going to be talking about if we have ever implemented vision boards and also bucket lists in our own lives and whether we think they work or don't work.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So Jam, ever created a vision board?
I have done a soft copy vision board, but I've never done a hard copy. I've tried it, but I did it and it just saved in my document. I don't go back and visit it, but since we're doing this episode, I revisited and I have accomplished nothing on it.
Do you think that's because it's not there in an obvious place in front of you?
Yeah, I think it's because I don't have it right in front of me. So I wake up every day and see it or I pass it. So I'm not held accountable for it. And I don't really tell anybody about it. So it's like, it's there. Or I don't even remember it was there just because we're doing this episode. I said, okay, let me dig it up. And I was like, where did I save it again? And I found it. I was like, oh, snap. The only thing I really do on it is like working out because I have a silhouette of like a nice chiseled torso. But other than that, there's nothing else. I put the Eiffel Tower on it, Oprah's book club. What else I have on it? Some other stuff, but I haven't done any of it. And I've never really thought about doing a bucket list.
Here's my question. How old is that soft copy, Jam?
When did I do that soft copy? About 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. About that. So I think it's really accountability for me. If I'm not held accountable for it, so I don't really stick to it or try to achieve anything on it.
But Jam, let's off the record. I mean, on record, off the wall, off the whatever people say. I don't believe in them. I don't believe in vision boards. I believe you set goals, but I guess the vision board is a visualization of those goals. But you are working out, and that's the silhouette, right?
Yeah.
You're working out. You've always eaten healthy, actually.
Give thanks.
Right. You can't travel right now because there's a pandemic, so you can't get to the Eiffel Tower because I don't even know if it's open. So there you go.
Yeah.
Right. But I saw you posted the other day on social media, or you posted it somewhere, I don't know where, but you traveled to like Rio Bueno or something in St. Anne. That's traveling. Right?
Yeah, right. But I'd like to go outside of. Nothing is wrong with traveling inside of your own country, but I'd love to explore, international countries outside of Jamaica. Traveling, I love to travel. Packing a suitcase is the most exciting thing for me.
Actually, no.
Just driving, just say, jump home, ready. Let's go.
This is funny because Lo hates packing so much.
Oh my God. I hate it. I hate packing. Everyone who knows me knows I hate to pack. I'm always going places, but the night before, the day off, awful, just terrible. I hate to pack, hate it, which is why I always
Listen,
overpack because everything I just throw it in.
See a suitcase with skin catch on fire. That's it.
Woo.
Just say when.
Wow.
I know. Have you ever? We're going to pick a vision board first, and then we'll get into the bucket list because there's a big difference in my opinion.
Right.
Lo, you say you don't believe in them. Have you ever tried it?
No. I've not tried it. I don't think I'll try it. I've heard about it. I've gone online. I've seen people. A lot of people did, especially early last year. They were really big into vision boards. They were really big into pasting money on the vision board. So a lot of it I saw on social media. People having seminars that you had to pay to learn about doing vision boards. I was like, are you serious right now? I couldn't believe it. Like, what? But what? A vision board? So every time you're leaving your house, you see money on a piece of board? That's the only reason I leave my house is because I need that money. So I don't need right? I don't need it.
Apart from the money, maybe it's a reminder of what you want to do or achieve with your life. So maybe some people need a visual aid.
True. And some people are visuals, I guess.
Yeah, if it's visual, you can manifest it, I think. So if you see it, you say, okay, I'm gonna go after that. But if you just think it's not enough for some people, so some people need to see it and like have a constant reminder, say, okay, that, yes, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. So maybe that's why.
And I feel like if you believe in goals, so the visual aspect of it I have tried, not necessarily a vision board, but I will take pictures and I'll put them on my refrigerator. It's never worked for me. But for some people, seeing that and setting a timeline and a deadline for those things, each image to happen, I guess it does work. No, it just doesn't work for me. Even I'm a list person, and even so much as to say, it's an electronic list. As much as I like apps and gadgets and all of that, I still write my list down on a Post-it note, and I like to just scratch. Okay, achieve that.
Exactly.
Achieve that. But I guess, I feel like visually, and I don't know if this still only happens with me, visually, the things that I want have changed, right? So I could put a picture of a dream house, and then the next year I'm like, nah, that dream house don't appeal to me anymore. I want something in the hills, And I think that for me, and that's why they don't work.
Oh well, it's not a case where it's hard and fast. You can adjust it or change it. So if, as you say, the house changes, you can change the house on it, or have a different picture of something else.
Good point.
That's a good point. You don't have to stick on one thing, but isn't that the reason for the vision board? So you're focused on your goals. Those are the goals that you set. So does it mean that you didn't?
Goals change.
Oh, mine changed very regular.
Or you have new goals.
I guess you need a big vision board to put more post-its. I don't know.
Or don't glue them down and you just use a thumbtack and glue them down. But I'm with you. I'm with you, Lo. I'm with you. I've always thought of the vision board as static, right? So this is it. This is what I want to achieve, and I'm going to keep going till I get to that picture right there.
Because then you become blinded. You become so blinded where this is what I want. This is all that matters right now. Well, sometimes you should have been going in a different direction, because if you believe in destiny and fate, you should be more open to changes. Like, I wanted to go to Spain before I went to Italy, but the opportunity came for me to go to Italy first. If I was just focused on where I wanted to travel, that opportunity would have, gone right by me. But I got the opportunity. I went. I still haven't been to Spain, which is okay. It's okay.
Maybe what it is vision for people like Laura and
But
I.
I
Vision
don't.
boards are too specific,
Probably.
and we don't work well that way.
I mean, no. Well, if you have a picture of a globe, right, of the world, it could represent going anywhere. So it's not like unless you have very specific pictures that you have a specific goal in mind, as Lo said, you might miss out on other goals. But I don't think if someone has a vision board, they're gonna say, "Oh no, I have to stick to this, and I can't do that, or I can't do X, Y, or Z because I'm doing C right now." I don't think that we have that.
All right.
I don't think people who do vision boards have a tunnel vision. Yes, they do vision boards to have certain goals in mind, but I don't think because of what's on the vision board, they wouldn't be willing or open to do other things that are not on the vision board.
Does it lead to disappointments? Does it lead to a feeling of not inferiority, but you haven't met your goals. You set these goals just as how you when you looked at it today, when you went back to yours, how did you feel?
Man, when I looked at it, I was like, yo, I didn't do nothing on this vision board. But it's something to work towards. I don't think I feel a sense of failure. It's just that I need to get my ass moving to do it. So it's motivation for me. Yes, I have the chisel torso, so I am working out.
Right.
Traveling, hopefully when outside start keep again, get rid of fingers crossed.
Right.
I'd be able to explore the traveling aspect of it.
Right.
On the Oprah interview, I don't know if Oprah doing interviews anymore, but I would have to do something to get into Oprah's purview.
Oh, so I thought you just wanted to read the books from Oprah's book club. No, you want to be interviewed.
No, I want
Oprah?
my book to be read in Oprah's book.
I love that.
Gotcha.
I love that.
Yes,
I love it.
no.
That's nice. That's nice.
I want my book to be featured.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Where are we along the writing the book pathway?
Well, I made that was the one resolution I made this year. I need to explore writing. It's always been in the back of my mind, like maybe I should write something. I keep thinking about it. So this year I'm actively going to pursue that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me ask you this, Jem. So you found your old soft copy of your goal.
Yes.
Do you think now that you found it, well, we're having this conversation and you think about writing and all of that, do you think that if you visualize and make a visualized copy of that, make a vision board out of it, do you think it would be effective for you?
If I had a physical copy, I think so, because it would be staring me more in the face and I'd feel guilty passing it every day and not doing anything about it. So I feel if I do actually make it, I would stick to it more, I think. And I watched the Secret. I don't know if you watched The Secret by what's her name, Rhonda Burns. Is that her name? I hope I'm getting her name right. But they say part of manifesting the life that you want, you have to visualize it, which would be the vision board, and then you ask the universe for what you want, and then you act as if you have already received it. So you visualize it, you think it, you put it on paper, you ask for it, and okay. So I believe you visualize it and ask the universe for what you want, and then act as if you've already received it.
Okay.
You bring up a great point there, Jam. You bring up manifestation, and manifestation is something I believe in, right?
Okay.
And I think it makes me think now that the whole idea of the vision board is just a part of manifestation for some people, right?
Yes.
And I think that's a really interesting angle that I never thought of. I still don't think it would work for me. Like I said, I've tried little mini versions of it. but I can see where it is essentially just a visualization of people's manifestation. And I think that with that being said, it makes sense to me.
Okay, great.
So I was
Because I
reading an
believe
article.
if you sorry, go ahead.
I was reading an article recently, and it was actually about vision boards from an entrepreneurial basis, right? And Forbes magazine had a study and said 1 in 5 small business owners have used vision boards successfully to head towards the goals for their business within the fiscal year, the financial year. And I never thought about that. Being a small business owner myself, I can see that. And I do think that in a lot of ways...
Big up Kistan 80.
I do think that in a lot of ways, it made me start to think that from a business perspective, this is something that's been going on for a long time, but just in the sense of a pie chart or a bar graph, right? But I do think that there have been visualizations in the business world of goals going on for a long time.
But I think a lot of them have to do that because they have to bring in investors, bring in capital, and you can't present to your prospective investor what's in your head. So I think from that point of view, it works for a small business that's trying to you have a target audience. So you're bringing in, say you need cheaper wholesalers for your business, right? So therefore, you need to present to your investors that this is my goal to bring in cheaper wholesalers. So you need that graphic. You need that graphic to say, this is where I'm at right now. If I can get these new wholesalers to give me my raw materials at a cheaper rate, then this is what I can do, and this will be your ROI. So that visual is what I think they use for the small business, which is why it will work for them because they have a target audience, they have a target profit margin, things like that to work towards. So I think it will help them. But personally for me, my goals, not that I'm not ambitious or anything, but I don't have on my vision board I need another degree or something like that. If you want to get a certification, if I want, throw it out there, Cisco certification, then okay, that's my goal. Start taking steps towards that goal. Because a lot of people, what they do is have all these fancy things, all these fancy boards and pictures, but they don't do anything after that. Not picking on you, Jam, but I'm just saying they're not doing things towards it, but they have a fabulous vision board and they pay this $50, $60 to attend these classes. And after that, that's it.
Well, I think if you're paying $50, $60 to do it, I think you would pay more attention to it because you spend money and you don't want the money to waste. But as I said before, I think some people need a visual aid. Some people, if they just think it is like, they just think and say, maybe not. But if they have a visual representation, they might be more apt to take action towards it.
What about, as you started off earlier with accountability? So maybe you should share your goals so your sister friends can hold you accountable.
Yeah, but what happens when you're not around?
Where would I go?
No, as in if we're not talking 24/7, or I don't see you 24/7. So there has to be something else to say to Jam. This is what you want to accomplish. This is what you need to do.
There needs to be a self-discipline there, right?
Yes. Self-discipline is a huge part.
I hear your point, Lo, about the businesses, and that was what the trigger was for me in reading the article. It was like, maybe for some people, they're seeing this as an investment in themselves. So creating their graphic, creating their image is their investment in themselves. I fear personally, and I think what we're all saying is that it boils down to how we work individually as people and what works for us and what doesn't work for us. But I think for myself, seeing the visual representation makes me overwhelmed.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, because that constant reminder may make you feel as a failure.
And just like when we're like, how can I accomplish all of this in 6 months or 12 months or 18 months, whatever the goal on the vision board is, and it just seeing it all is very overwhelming for me. It's just like when I'm at work, if I'm working on a project, if I go into the project plan, sometimes seeing it, I like to look at a spreadsheet as tabs rather than a full spreadsheet. In work terms, if that makes sense. And that's personally what works better for me.
That's interesting, because for me, go ahead, Jam. Sorry.
No, I was saying, maybe for the vision board, I don't know if it's just one big slab, or maybe you can have like pages where you have one thing on a page and you can turn it so that it's not as overwhelming as seeing the entire thing on one, say.
But I think that's the goal, is to have one thing. It's one thing. It's one thing. It's one thing with different vision. Yeah, one board. One board. Woo.
Maybe if it's overwhelming for some, or for you, maybe you can have like a leaflet so you can turn the pages so you can see one thing at a time.
Okay.
It would not be as overwhelming.
I want to stick to my Post-it though.
I am a Post-it person, but that's for work and, setting. I tell them at work, if it's on a Post-it, it will happen. If it's not on a Post-it.
You remember being Mary Jane with her Post-its?
Yes.
Me with lists.
Remember,
so they're not deep things, but
I didn't see that.
You never watched Being Mary Jane, Jen?
No.
Wow. We should go back to that stuff. Yes, we will. We absolutely will. Do you know anyone who has ever done a vision board, like someone who has did it, accomplished it, and said, "Hey, this worked for me"?
That's going to be a hard no for me.
My sister has. She's done a vision board, and I believe she accomplished some things on it, but not everything. But I saw her vision board.
So people share their vision board? Or just because it was your sister?
Well, with her, she shared hers. She showed me hers.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with showing your vision board unless you're like super duper private, but I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, unless your vision board has something serious. Can you imagine if your vision board has something serious? By the end of the year, I'll be a man. I wouldn't share that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you can see if it's too. Can you see it?
No.
Tell
us what's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bust our heads.
There's a picture of an airplane, the Eiffel Tower, the chiseled abs, as I said, the torso, a picture of Oprah, the globe, and a picture of a Land Rover.
Okay. Is that yours or your sister's?
Mine.
Oh,
as my wallpaper on my phone.
Oh, wow. But Jam, I mean, for example, with the book club, why don't you just join Oprah's book club? That's a start. That would have accomplished a part of it. Join Oprah's book club.
Well, I didn't want to join it as a member. I just wanted to be featured.
Oh, okay. Well, baby steps.
Manifestation. That I can wholeheartedly agree with you on.
Yes.
Manifest that bad boy, Jam.
Woo!
I'm working on it.
Eric Jerome Dickey, God rest his soul, is gone. We need somebody to replace his.
Yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do.
Present in the literature world. All right, so let's move on to bucket list, ladies.
Okay.
So there's a big difference, right? So vision boards, shorter term goals, bucket list, what you want to do before you die. Right?
But aren't they pretty much, the bucket list is just the list form of a vision board, isn't it?
Not necessarily. As Sam said, the vision board is more short-term, direct, have to save $20,000 by the end of the year, that type of thing. The bucket list is, I want to do this before I kick the bucket.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of people don't start living their bucket list until probably retirement. And it makes
Which
me
is
think
a
of that
bad
movie.
idea. That is a bad idea.
Talk to us, Lo. Why?
Let me tell you, in my field of work, I've seen it all. And you should start checking your bucket list today. Because I have seen so many people that they do not start until retirement. Okay, so for example, you go to college, meet your love of your life, get married. You have goals, have, bucket list items, but that's not what society dictates. You're supposed to get a job, get married, have 2.5 kids with the picket fence house and the cat and the dog, right? And then, you know what? That random half a kid.
I'm going to be nice and not answer that question.
And then you're supposed to raise those kids, be the soccer mom, the basketball mom, the tennis mom, the dance mom, the whole thing. And then the kids go off to college. And then after the college thing, then you help pay for their wedding, move them out. Then you're supposed to be at retirement. And then you should start on your bucket list. But there's this little thing called life that just slaps you silly and say, oh, hey, by the way, I have issues. So here comes the issues in your life: sickness, divorce, family drama. And let's just start with sickness. Let's just focus on that thing. So many young people nowadays are getting sick, not just talking about corona, but and not just lifestyle disease. This is out of their control. You have 33-year-olds that have metastatic breast cancer that goes to their brain with zero family history. No, smoking, drinking, just a random. You have 33-year-old male that have, head and neck cancer, and you don't know why. And they have goals, they have plans, but they're waiting until retirement. And a lot of patients tell me daily, and this is years now, they're saying, listen, live your life now, because when you get over 65, all you have are doctor appointments. Every single week is a different doctor appointment. So live your goal. I'll never forget, a patient said, if I knew what I know now then, I would have a lot more sex. And this little, old little lady.
Give her a high five for me.
I would have a lot more sex. You have a lot of sex because now I can't have sex. My husband died.
Oh,
no.
Right.
Give her my number. Let me help her out.
But it's things like that we don't think about. And that's why for me, it's you live in the now. And that's what it is living in the now, and not say, oh, I'm going to wait until I'm 65 to get that dream car. Well, buy the car now.
But I think why a lot of people wait for retirement or until they get older is finances, because a lot of people may not be able to afford these certain things on their bucket list. No, they have to work and save money to in order to achieve some of them. So maybe that's why in most of the cases they wait until they're older.
That's a big part of it, Jam. And especially if you have children to raise, right? And then children to put through college, College alone is like 50 bucket lists in one, the price of college, So that's a big part of it. And then what Loni says about trying to adapt to societal norms and expectations, I actually I used to have a colleague a few years back who he said he was never going to buy a house because that stopped him from traveling the world. The expenses and all of that was related to a house, and he never wanted to give that up. That meant, he said, I couldn't take the house with me. So why? You know, so he traveled the world instead of paying a mortgage and paying for a new boiler or a new water heater or anything like that. He traveled the world and he loved his life.
Yeah.
You know?
Or when the city finds you for cutting down 2 limbs off the tree, just putting that out there.
Right. Or raises, what is it? You have issues with your garbage or something?
Yeah,
like
my
that,
sewage fees. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I see both points, and I think it's kind of it's kind of whether or not how important things are to you, right?
Yeah.
And how important that is. Like if I never get to travel the continent of Africa, I'm going to have major regrets. You know, I'm going to have major regrets. But is it something I can logically do now? No.
Why not?
Because my responsibilities, especially as a parent, run deep right now, and that's fine. That's fine. You know, my goal was to always execute these dreams with my child, and I think that's also an option. You know, and I'm hoping that I can still do that.
And the funny thing why I think a lot of people get overwhelmed or take that view, Sam, is because they really haven't looked into it to look at, oh, wow, this isn't as expensive as it is. Because when I went to Italy, I was thinking, oh my goodness, where am I going to find $4,000 to take this trip? It didn't even cost me half of that. The flight from London to Rome was £100.
Wow.
Round trip.
Well, that would be hundreds of thousands from Jamaica.
True, but it's not really. It's $150 US.
London. That was from London, Jam.
That was from London, but
down here.
Yeah, but if I would have to get to London first, then take a connecting flight from London.
That's where planning comes in, because the trip from Miami to London for me, because I booked it months in advance. I flew on a Wednesday evening. The flight was empty. It was just me and another guy in the row, and we were spread out. It cost me like what, $600 US for that flight.
Oh, just a flight.
Just a flight.
Flexibility is important, right, Lo, in traveling like that. Be flexible and you can get the better deals.
You have to be flexible. And then I stayed with friends there. You know what I'm saying?
Friends in Italy?
No, we rented we got a place in Italy in a really fantastic neighborhood, but it wasn't peak season. It wasn't the summer.
Oh,
so therefore, we were in the row where all the embassies were, where the embassy hotels and all those other places were. We were in that neighborhood because those people were there during the summer. In September, October, that's when the places are empty. And you get to stay in someone's apartment that's gone.
Mm-hmm. You Airbnb it.
Right. So it takes planning. I know a friend, she went to South Africa twice in 1 year. Well, she went to Johannesburg in South Africa, and then she went to another country. But it's like, you know, she did it. Airbnb, cheap flights, domestic, simple, cheap flights where, you pick the thing, they put you in a random seat, and she did it.
Yeah, I do think you're right, Lo. I do think a lot of people get scared of
it's scary
what's involved. Okay. Yeah. But I'm with you.
Scared. I just need the money.
True.
Oh, you mean people waiting?
Right, because it costs a lot. Yes.
Yeah, so I think the reason why a lot of people wait is because they're not in a financial position to achieve do most of the things on their bucket list that they want to. So that's why it takes some of them until retirement, because they would have saved towards the bucket list.
Right.
So I guess that's why a lot of them wait.
But to Lonnie's point, a lot of the things on the bucket list, if you really investigate, and that's a really good point, Lo, could actually cost less if you find ways around it,
And that's if your bucket list involves travel. Some people bucket list is to find family find your biological family. You know, there are a lot of people who are adopted. That could be their bucket list. Their bucket, like for you, Jam, it could be getting an interview with Oprah, which wouldn't cost anything. So not everything on someone's bucket list involves travel. Mine involves travel.
Mine involves a whole lot of travel. And I think most people's bucket lists do involve a lot of traveling. So that's why most of them wait, because they don't think they can afford it right now. And as you say, they haven't explored the options.
Look, there are a lot of travel clubs, a lot of group activities you can join. And sometimes if you book it in January, you have 12 months to pay for it. And I know we've done a cruise, but Sam isn't a fan of cruises, but that's one way to see other cultures, other countries, a very cheap way to see it also. Like when I went to Honduras, I didn't know that island off of Honduras, they speak English, but they are Hondurans, yes. And I didn't know that. And you see the food, like their rum, like Rare Nephew has nothing on their rum. It's like
Nightingale.
Well,
Appleton.
Appleton. I didn't say Appleton.
Okay.
But their rum is really good. Like and their culture is it's closer to ours in the Caribbean than South America, to be honest. And
Where's that Honduras?
It's an island off of Honduras. I don't remember the island. It's one of those where the cruise ship goes. But it was an eye-opener. And then I always thought I would love Belize. Like I've heard so much about their the natural environment in Belize, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I was very disappointed. And I mean, we spent it was a day, but it was an entire day. And when I go on a cruise and I go on these places, I don't just take the little touristy stuff. I don't book those. I go out there, rent a cab, and say, hey, take me to where the locals are. And things like that. So, and I didn't care for it. I wouldn't go back. And sorry, Belize. But bucket list to me, are vision boards. Yes, will work for some people. I don't have bucket lists. I have plans, because bucket list sounds so far away. But for me, I have plans to live now. I think I shared with you guys the other day where I saw this thing online. I will not be the richest in the cemetery. I will be the prettiest right now. And
they used to say you never see a Brinks fan at a funeral yet.
No. No. And it's not just pretty as in physical, but it's living the happiness now, accomplishing those goals. I was never one. I'm a big fan of education. I've always, but I'm done. Everyone is saying, "Oh, are you going back to school to do that?" No. I already suffered for 14 years. I'm done. You know,
I think it's the mindset too, because a lot of people, the mindset is go to school, get the job, and look after the family. But there's no in between, or to say, okay, I don't think a lot of people plan to take vacations or take trips to Europe and things like that. I think they probably see it as out of their reach, because it's just recently I see a lot of Black people traveling. I don't really see Black people travel. It's mostly white people you see travel, and normally they do the touristy stuff and they travel all over the place. You don't see a lot of Black people traveling. And I don't know if it's a mindset thing or a financial thing, but I see a renaissance happening now, where a lot more people of color are traveling,
and they're young.
It's a good thing.
You notice,
a younger group of people. Indeed, Lo.
Yes,
and they're traveling like as couples or by themselves. Is what I noticed has become
some
popular.
by themselves, some in groups.
Yes,
I follow Travel Noir.
I love Travel Noir. I want to do a Travel Noir trip.
Oh my God, I would love.
I want to do a That's on my
Yeah.
bucket list. I would love to do a travel New Orleans.
And it's nice that a group of Black people can travel and have share experiences. I think that's awesome.
Have you guys ever seen that movie Under the Tuscan Sun?
Bite your tongue.
I love that movie. I love that movie. And that was, she was
I've heard
alone
about
on a
it. I don't
travel
think
group.
I watched it.
No,
She was
watch it
alone on a
tonight.
travel group.
Okay, I will.
That's my dream, to buy an old
Me
house and
too.
fix it up in Italy. Shut
Not
up.
necessarily Italy for me, no.
Italy.
Not
Hands
necessarily
down.
Europe for me. But she was on a travel group, right? By herself.
Yeah.
It was a gay travel group. And she was a gay, but it was such a transformation in her life, the experience. And I do believe that these things happen at the right time when you need them to happen. Personally, I recently did my ancestry DNA, and I feel like so I feel like when that comes back, the dominant countries, when it comes to traveling on my bucket list,
Yeah.
I want to hit up the dominant countries on my ancestry DNA when it comes back. I do have other things on my bucket list that don't involve traveling, but one of my biggest dreams has always been to work with children with disabilities. But that would be volunteer work, and that's not something I can logically do right now because my dream is to work with children with disabilities outside of the U.S., right? So predominantly in the Caribbean. So that's actually the number one item on my bucket list.
Wow. But look, I'm fascinated with that. I think that should be another topic on our future podcast, is that ancestor DNA thing. Because I don't want to do it. My niece did it. I don't.
You don't want to? Why? Why is
I'm
that?
good.
Now?
I'm good.
I'd love to know where I come from and who I'm related to.
It took me a lot of convincing, Lo. A lot of convincing. My brother did it.
Yeah. Okay.
And our ancestry was from him, same mother, same father, was very interesting, but it took me a lot of convincing. I would have thought that ours would be the same pretty much. So it'll be interesting to compare mine and his, and when it comes back. It takes a while. I did it a couple months ago, and they just hit me up this week to say that they are actually starting to do the scientific part of it now. So I'll let you guys know when it comes.
Oh, I'm excited.
Fabulous.
I'm good. I don't want to know. Let my cousins stay where my cousins are. I'll continue living my life. No.
I know I'm a queen, but it would be nice to see it on paper.
Okay.
Well, ladies, this has been a fantastic conversation.
As always.
I think that it's important. I think my biggest takeaway from this episode has been what Jam spoke about when she mentioned manifestations. And I would love it if we could even have an episode dedicated to a conversation about manifestations.
Manifestation. That would be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I think my takeaway is just to have an open mind. I think you have to be open and willing or be courageous enough to take action towards your goal.
Right.
Fear stops a lot of people. Good point.
Fear.
Yeah. Indeed.
And I think I should start offering my services for free to people who need motivation. Services? I know. They just need a little motivation. That's it.
No, maybe you need to offer some travel advice.
I will. I will.
Lord, please be nice to the people. Don't be mean.
Okay. Okay. That I can work on. I'll put that on my vision board. All right. So, you know what? With this whole vision board thing, let's probably have someone else's take on it, because Jam is doing it. Sam is going to think about it for business. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to live my fabulous life. Let me ask Chantal what she thinks. Chantal lives up in north of me. She lives up in Chicago suburbs of Chicago. Hi, Chantal.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Chantal.
So we're talking about vision boards. What's your take on it? And have you done one?
I've never done one. I actually like them. I like the idea of one, but it's just not for me.
Really? Why? Because I know I don't like it.
Because I feel like it would just be left incomplete. I'm a procrastinator. So I'm more, even though I'm a visual learner, I'm more of a list maker. So I'm the person that's always writing stuff down, making lists, having notebooks. I have like a dry erase board on my refrigerator. Like I'm constantly leaving notes in my car. Like at work, I'll be writing notes on paper towels. That's me.
Oh God.
Is that effective for you, Chantal?
Yeah. Huh?
Is that effective for you, making the list?
Yes. So that's what works for me, making lists. Like whether it's packing or appointments, even cleaning. Like today I was cleaning up and I have to make a list of what I need to do because then I always feel overwhelmed.
But what about for the big picture things, like what people typically put on their vision boards?
Mm-hmm.
Like
goal,
buying a car, a home, saving, investing, stuff like that.
Like I make a list, or I do a lot of picture captures. Like I'll capture something like maybe a recipe I want to try or area or someplace I want to visit. But yeah, the vision board, like I like it when I see other people do it. It's just not for me. Maybe one day I'll try it again, but yeah, or maybe I'll try something simple. Maybe I'll start small and then work my way up. Maybe that will help.
Like say a recipe, like I want to try a recipe from every different culture.
Yeah, from different culture. But yeah, for now, like my vision board is like making lists.
Yeah, that's me 100%. For me, it's sticky notes. That's why I was telling the ladies earlier. For me, it's sticky notes. And I have a whiteboard in my kitchen too, Chantal.
Yes, I do. Like I have to
trying to convince my kid, write it down on the whiteboard. Write down all the things.
Exactly.
She's like, Mom, I don't work that way.
Exactly. Like the other day, my fiance was like, why don't you use your Google like calendar and put stuff down? And I'm like, yeah, no, I need to write it down on the refrigerator or write it in my notebook so I can see it.
Yeah, I'm a little different in the sense that I do take advantage of the technology. I love Google Keep and I love my Google Calendar. I do make a lot of lists on those things.
I like Google Lists, Task Manager. Because I'll use the Google Calendar, but then I'll snooze it and then I'll forget.
Oh boy.
I genuinely do like the ideas. I've seen people vision boards. I work with kids, so I've actually helped them make vision boards. But
really?
It just works for some people. We work, I work in social services. So, whether their goal is to like go back home or, to work to accomplish certain goals that they have. And it just works, but some of the kids like it and some of them don't, and I would say more the girls like it than the boys actually. The boys are kind of like, yeah, I don't,
But do you see that? Do you see them actually? This is the question for me. And this is interesting. Do you see them actually aligning their actions to achieve what's on their vision boards?
I would probably say like 1 or 2 out of 10 over the years. So not a lot. I don't know, maybe because they're younger, so they're not as dedicated to it, or maybe they're accomplishing their goals, but they're not really seeing it on their vision board. Like, oh, I'm going to go back and check it off because I accomplished this. But I think maybe because they're younger.
Okay.
So, but I do know, like I have, known people to use vision boards, but it's not something that I've know a lot of people personally that use it. But I hear people use it. I've seen people use it. And I always think like, oh, that's cool. Maybe one day I'll try it. And, like I told Aloni, I'm like, yeah, I think the biggest issue for my vision board is it will never get done.
Yeah, it's not for you, Chantal. I get it.
Well, thank you, Chantal, for piping in, joining us today, talking about vision boards. And just quickly tell us give us the top 2 items on your bucket list.
On my bucket list, when outside opens up more, I definitely want to travel more.
There you go, Jam.
And I want to do more charity work.
Nice.
Yeah, life is short. So I want to be able to do more, especially for kids.
Right.
It's at the top of mine.
I know.
She said what? I didn't hear that part.
It's on the top of my bucket list.
Oh, okay.
Working
awesome.
with kids, yeah.
So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Chantal. Thanks for joining us, and have a goody gumdrop day, sweetie. Thank you.
All right. Congrats,
Bye.
guys, on your podcast. Good guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.